Stop. Rewind the last conversation you had. Someone asked you a simple question. Maybe it was, why were you late? Maybe it was, why didn't you go to the party? Maybe it was, why do you want to change jobs? And what did you do? Did you give a simple answer? Or did you offer a dissertation? Did you apologize? Did you give 3 different reasons, stumbling over your words, checking their face to see if they believed you, checking their eyes to see if they approved of you? If you are like 99% of people, you didn't just answer. You testified. You turned a simple interaction into a trial. And without realizing it, you walked voluntarily into the defendant's cage, and you appointed the other person as your judge. Every time you over-explain yourself, you are sending a very loud, very clear signal to the world. I do not have the authority to make my own decisions. Please validate me. This habit is making you weak. It is draining your chi, your vital energy. It is destroying your status in the eyes of others. And worst of all, it is corroding your self-respect. Today, we are going to break this addiction. We are going to explore the Shaolin wisdom of sovereign silence. We are going to learn why the master speaks in short sentences, why the lion does not explain himself to the sheep, and how you can reclaim your power by simply shutting your mouth. You have spent your life acting like a defendant. It is time to become the judge. To understand why explaining is a weakness, we must first look at the invisible hierarchy of human interaction. Every conversation is a negotiation of status. This is not about being arrogant. It is about biology. It is about how social animals determine who leads and who follows. There is a fundamental law in social dynamics. The one who explains is the subordinate. The one who listens is the authority. Think about a king and a servant. If the king makes a decision, does he sit down and explain to the servant why he made that decision? Does he list his reasons? Does he ask for understanding? No. He simply acts. His action is the explanation. Now think about a child and a parent. If the child breaks a vase, what do? They explain. It wasn't my fault. The cat pushed me. I slipped. They explain because they are powerless. They explain to avoid punishment. They explain to seek mercy. When you are an adult, and you still over-explain your choices to your friends, your boss, or your partner, you are subconsciously reverting to the role of the child. You are projecting the archetype of the parent onto everyone you meet. You are saying, I am not secure in my choice unless you agree with it. This creates a disastrous dynamic called the courtroom of the mind. You live your life as if you are constantly on trial. You believe that you are guilty until proven innocent. So, when someone asks you, why aren't you drinking tonight? You feel a spike of anxiety. You feel accused. So you start to present evidence. Oh, I have an early meeting tomorrow. I'm on a diet. I have a headache. You are throwing words at them, hoping one of the excuses will stick. Hoping they will say, case dismissed, you are innocent. But here is the brutal truth. They don't care. The person asking usually doesn't care about your reasons. They are just making conversation. But by over-explaining, you make the interaction heavy, you make it awkward, and biologically, you signal submission. Predators, manipulators, narcissists, and toxic people can smell this on you. They look for the explainers. Why? Because an explainer is easy to control. If I know that you feel the need to explain everything, all I have to do to control you is give you a skeptical look. I just have to raise an eyebrow. I just have to stay silent. And you will panic. You will start talking faster. You will reveal your insecurities. You will give me information I can use against you. You will do anything to fill the silence, because the silence makes you feel guilty. The Shaolin master guards his tongue like a gatekeeper guards the temple. He understands that words are energy. When you over-explain, you are leaking energy. It is like a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You are pouring your life force out in a desperate attempt to be understood by people who are not even listening. This creates a state of spiritual exhaustion. You go home tired, not because you worked hard, but because you spent the entire day managing the perceptions of others. You spent the entire day on trial. Stop attending the trial. Step out of the cage. Dissolve the court. You do not need a jury to live your life. You only need your own conviction. But to stop this behavior, we must understand where it comes from. We were not born this way. We were trained to be this way. We were trained to be good boys and good girls. Where did this begin? You were not born asking for permission. Look at a baby. Does a baby explain why it is crying? Does a baby apologize for being hungry? Does a toddler justify why he wants to play with the red toy instead of the blue one? No, they simply are. They exist in a state of pure, unapologetic being. So, who broke you? For most of us, the training began very early. It began in the classroom, and it began at the dinner table. We were taught a very dangerous equation. Explanation equals safety. Think back to when you were a child, when you made a mistake, when you broke something, or forgot your homework, or hit your brother. What happened? You were confronted by a giant, a parent, a teacher, an authority figure. They looked down at you with anger. And in that moment of terror, you learned a survival mechanism. You learned that if you could talk fast enough, if you could come up with a good enough reason, if you could explain your innocence, the anger would go away. The punishment would stop. You might even get a smile. You learned that being understood was the key to being loved, or at least the key to being safe. So you became the good boy. You became the good girl. You became the master of the explanation. You learned to monitor the emotions of everyone around you, and the moment you sensed tension, you started talking to fix it. But now look at you. You are 30, 40, 50 years old. The teacher is gone. The parent is old or gone. But the program is still running. You are still walking into meeting rooms, dates, and friendships with the subconscious fear of that little child. You believe that if you are misunderstood, you will be abandoned. You believe that if someone disagrees with your choice, you are in danger. So when someone looks at you strangely, you start dancing. You start pouring out words to bridge the gap. Please understand me. Please don't be mad. Please see that I am good. This is the hunger of the good boy. It is a hunger for external validation that can never be filled. The Shaolin philosophy offers a cure for this hunger. It teaches us that the need to be understood by others is a form of spiritual slavery. If your peace of mind depends on my understanding of you, then I own you. If I refuse to understand you, if I choose to misinterpret you, if I choose to judge you, and that destroys your peace, then you are not free. You are a puppet, and my opinion is the string. The master accepts a profound truth. You will be misunderstood. It is inevitable. People view the world through their own lenses, their own traumas, and their own limited intelligence. Even if you explain yourself for 1,000 years, some people will still see what they want to see. Trying to force them to see your truth is like trying to teach a fish to walk. It is a waste of your life force. We must make a crucial distinction here, a distinction that will save you years of wasted energy. There is a difference between communication and justification. They look similar, but they are energetic opposites. Communication is the transfer of data. It is respectful. It is necessary for cooperation. I cannot come to the meeting because I have a doctor's appointment. This is communication. It is a fact. It is neutral. It respects the other person's need to know. Justification is a plea for approval. I can't come to the meeting because I have a doctor's appointment. I've been feeling really sick lately and I tried to reschedule, but they couldn't fit me in. And I really didn't want to miss this. I hope you're not mad. Do you feel the difference? Communication comes from a place of fullness. It says, here is the reality. Justification comes from a place of lack. It says, please tell me it's okay. The master communicates. The servant justifies. When you justify, You are telling the other person that their judgment of your life is more important than your own judgment of your life. You are handing them the gavel. You must kill the good boy. The good boy wants everyone to be happy. The good boy wants zero conflict. The good boy will set himself on fire just to keep others warm. The awakened man, the warrior, understands that conflict is a part of life. He understands that disappointment is a part of life. He knows that when he sets a boundary or says no or chooses a path, some people will be unhappy, and he is okay with that. He does not try to fix their unhappiness with explanations. He lets them be unhappy. He lets them be confused. He respects them enough to let them have their own reaction without trying to manipulate it with words. This is the beginning of freedom. To look at someone who misunderstands you, someone who is judging you, and simply let them. To stand in the silence of your own conviction and realize, I do not need to explain why I am worthy. My existence is the proof. But once you stop explaining, you create a vacuum. You create silence. And for most people, silence is terrifying because they don't know how to wield it. They don't know the power of the empty space. We have established that over-explaining is a sign of submission. But it is also something else. It is an economic disaster for your social value. There is a universal law that governs money, gold, diamonds, and human respect. It is the law of scarcity. The law states simply, the more there is of something, the less it is worth. If you print $1 trillion tomorrow, the value of the dollar collapses. This is inflation. The currency becomes cheap. You need a wheelbarrow of cash just to buy a loaf of bread. The exact same thing happens with your words. When you explain yourself constantly, when you fill every silence with nervous chatter, when you offer 5 reasons for a decision that only needed 1, you are inflating your own currency. You are flooding the market with your words. And as a result, the value of your speech hits 0. People stop listening to you, not because they are rude, but because you have taught them that your words are cheap. You have taught them that you are a discount person. Observe the high-status individual in any room. Observe the CEO, the master, the leader. Do they talk the most? Almost never. When they speak, do they repeat themselves? Never. Do they explain their commands? Rarely. They hoard their words like gold. Because they speak less, their words have immense weight. When a silent man finally opens his mouth, the entire room turns to listen. Why? Because they know he doesn't waste ammunition. Now, look at the low-status individual, the explainer. They are terrified of silence. They view silence as a vacuum that must be filled. They talk in circles. They repeat the same point 3 times just to make sure you got it. They overshare personal details to strangers. They are shallow water. There is a Shaolin saying, the brook babbles because it is shallow. The ocean is silent because it is deep. When you are shallow, when you have no internal substance, no confidence, you make noise. You splash. You are chaotic. When you are deep, when you are grounded in your truth, you are still. This noise is not just annoying, it is dangerous. It attracts predators. In the animal kingdom, predators look for the erratic movement. They look for the limping gazelle. They look for the nervous twitch. In the human kingdom, social predators, manipulators, bullies, narcissists, look for the explainer. Your over-explanation is a tell. In poker, a tell is a subtle signal that reveals your hand. When you over-explain, you are literally handing the other person the manual on how to manipulate you. You are revealing your insecurities. You are telling them exactly what you are afraid of. I can't come because my mother is sick, and I'm really stressed about money right now. You think you are just giving a reason. The predator hears, I am emotionally vulnerable, and I have financial anxiety. I am an easy target. You are giving them ammunition. You are arming your enemies because you cannot bear the discomfort of a simple no. And there is another layer to this destruction of respect. It kills mystery. Power requires a certain level of distance. It requires the unknown. We respect what we cannot fully understand. We respect what we cannot predict. When you explain everything, you become a transparent box. You become boring. You become predictable. There is no gravity to your character because there is no weight to your secrets. You have given them all away. The master remains a black box. You see the input, the situation, and you see the output, his action, but you do not see the internal process. You do not know why he did it. You only know that he did it. This lack of information forces you to project power onto him. You assume he has reasons you cannot comprehend. You assume he knows something you don't. By withholding the explanation, he forces you to come to him. He creates a gravitational pull. So ask yourself, do you want to be the noisy brook that everyone steps over? Or do you want to be the ocean that everyone respects? If you want respect, you must create scarcity. You must be willing to let people wonder. You must be willing to let people be confused. You must be willing to let people create their own stories about why you did what you did. Their story is not your business. Your business is your action. But how do we execute this? How do we break the habit of a lifetime? How do we sit in that awkward silence without crumbling? We need a protocol, a tactical set of tools to use when the pressure is high and the urge to vomit words is strong. You know why you explain. You know the cost. Now, we must learn how to stop. Because the moment you leave this video, the world will test you. Someone will ask you a question that triggers your insecurity. Your heart will beat faster. The good boy inside you will want to rush to the microphone. You need a weapon. You need a protocol. Here are the 3 tactical steps to practicing sovereign silence. Tactic number 1. The tactical pause. This is the most powerful tool in the negotiation of power. When someone asks you a probing question, why are you doing it that way? Or, why can't you come? Your instinct is to answer immediately to relieve the tension. Do not answer. Instead, I want you to take a breath. Look them in the eye. And count to 3 inside your head. 1, 2, 3. In those 3 seconds, 2 things happen. First, you override the fawn response, the biological urge to please. You regain control of your nervous system. Second, you shift the pressure of the silence back onto them. The amateur feels the silence and panics. The master uses the silence as a spotlight. By not answering immediately, you signal that you are considering if you want to answer, not struggling how to answer. You turn the table. You become the judge. Tactic number 2. The no is complete. We have been conditioned to believe that no is a sentence fragment. We think no requires a comma and a because. No, because, no, but you must retrain your brain to understand that no is a complete sentence. You do not need a reason to decline an invitation. You do not need a reason to set a boundary. You do not need a reason to value your own time. I cannot make it. That doesn't work for me. I'm not interested. Notice there is no because. There is no handle for them to grab onto. When you give a reason, I can't come because I have no money, you are inviting them to solve your problem. Oh, don't worry, I'll pay. Now you are trapped. When you simply say no, there is no debate. It is a wall, not a door. It feels rude at first. It feels aggressive, but it is not. It is simply clear. And clarity is the highest form of kindness. Tactic. Number 3, the pivot to action. Sometimes you cannot just say no. Sometimes you are in a professional setting where you must communicate. In this case, you must replace explanation with declaration. An explanation focuses on the past, why I did it. A declaration focuses on the future, what I am doing. Instead of, I'm sorry I'm late, the traffic was terrible, and my alarm didn't go off. Weak, past-focused. Say, I am late. Let's get started immediately so we don't waste more time. Strong, future-focused. Do not wallow in the excuse. Pivot immediately to the solution. The leader acknowledges the reality and moves forward. The follower gets stuck in the apology. The trap of the fool. There is one final warning I must give you. As you practice this protocol, you will encounter people who demand explanations. They will get angry. They will call you secretive. They will call you cold. Do not break. There is a Taoist teaching. You cannot speak of the ocean to a frog living in a well. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. Some people are committed to their own narrative of who you are. Trying to explain your growth to them is futile. It is like trying to describe the color blue to a blind man. When you encounter these people, the frogs in the well, do not argue, do not explain. Smile, bow, and walk away. Your silence in the face of their chaos is the ultimate victory. It proves that you no longer need their validation to exist. We have journeyed through the courtroom of submission. We have seen how you put yourself on trial every day. We have exposed the hunger of the good boy. The childhood programming that taught you that safety comes from being understood. We have analyzed the inflation of words, how your over-explaining makes you cheap, shallow, and easy to manipulate. And we have armed you with the protocol, the tactical pause, the complete no, the pivot. Now, the trial is over. The cage door is open. But the choice to walk out is yours. Tomorrow, you will feel the urge to explain. You will feel the itch to justify your existence. In that moment, I want you to remember the mountain. The mountain does not explain its height. It does not apologize for blocking the sun. It does not ask the wind for permission to stand. It simply is. Be the mountain. Reclaim your energy. Close the leak. Stop testifying against yourself. Because the only person you need to explain your life to is the person staring back at you in the mirror. And he doesn't need your words. He needs your actions, gratitude,